Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Podcast Podbean, coming to you live from the Far East. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meka Albania Oshoral. I am Meka Albania Oshoral. Meka Albania Oshoral, coming to you live from the Far East, ladies and gentlemen. From the Far East, where I am broadcasting live from my studio. And the topic today is the Far East. We're going to talk about the Far East. We are doing a podcast, a recording, as well as a live Truth Matters broadcasting. Truth Matters broadcasting is where we discern for ourselves the truth about religion, the kingdom of the one greatest and ultimate, absolute higher power, and the church. Now, if you notice, I use the word higher power. I use it for a reason, because you know what? This God, God word that we have in our vocabulary was given to us by pagans of pagan origin. And if I know this creator, the heavenly Father that I called upon, whose name is Yah-O, he commands us not to have no other gods before him. No other gods. It's the first thing he says when he brought us out of the land of Masraim, we today call Egypt. He brought us out of the land of Egypt, and he says, I am the Alaim, who have brought you out of the land of Masraim, Egypt. You shall, this is what thou shall mean. It means you shall have no other gods before me. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. And why is this important? Because he's not speaking to the entire world at this point here. A couple of centuries ago, he has destroyed the entire world for their wickedness, their sins, their rebellious heart. So he's not speaking to the entire world. He called the man Abram, and he made a covenant, a contract with Abram and his seed forever. We must understand Abram had many seeds. He had, at least for the first two, we know he had Ishmael and he has Isaac. I always like to go back to the beginning of this, because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a full understanding of why you believe what you believe, then you're going to believe any wind of teachings, any wind of error, anything that is called religion. No, first and foremost, I want to just bring to your attention that the word religion was only mentioned 2 times in the Bible. Twice in the Bible, the word religion was mentioned 2 times. And it's only in the New Testament. Never, ever in the history of our people has the Father, Yah-O, has ever mentioned the word religion. It was unheard of. As a matter of fact, religion is of a pagan origin. We weren't called, ladies and gentlemen, to be religious. We were called to be a nation. Come on now. A kingdom of priests, a holy nation, a royal priesthood. This is what we were supposed to be. In Exodus 19, when he took us out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, he said, listen to me, hear me. If you will obey my voice, he said, if you will obey my voice and keep my charge, my covenant, my decrees, my statutes, my laws, then you, ladies and gentlemen, not the whole world, not the whole nation, you is specific. You will be a peculiar people unto me. Unto me what? Unto me, he said, unto myself. Even though he said, the whole world is mine. Come on now. All the gold and all the silver is his. If you don't realize that by now, you're eluding yourself. All the cattle on 1,000 hills are his. All the nations are his. Everything that you see is happening here. Evil men have evil intention, but our creator, he's the one pulling all the strings. And if you don't believe it, then you're not reading your scriptures. Who sent the Babylonians against the Yahusharals, aka Israelites? Who sent the Babylonians to conquer them? It was the Father who sent the Babylonians. Every time they go away from the law, every time they go away from the statutes, every time they go away from the precepts, they have entered in a state of rebellion, ladies and gentlemen. And when they enter that state of rebellion, ladies and gentlemen, guess what happened? The same thing that happened to us throughout our history. Look and see. Throughout our history, ladies and gentlemen, the same thing happened over and over and over and over again. The same thing happened over and over and over again. They forsake the laws of Yahweh. They have rebelled against his statutes, his covenant that he made with our forefathers, which he had made with us. And when we have rebelled against him, guess what happened? Slavery, same thing over and over again. It is the history of our lives when we forsake the truth of the word of Yahweh. And some time passed in slavery. But the same thing happened over and over and over and over again. Watch what happened. And the children of Yahushar'al, aka Israel, called upon the name of the Lord. That's what the Bible teaches us, right? Call upon the name of the Lord. We don't use Lord now because we are of a better understanding. So we don't use the word Lord. Because we also understand that Lord is of a pagan origin, and it's the name of a deity that is called Baal or Bel. So when you use the word Lord, you're speaking of the pagan god, Canaanite god Baal. So we can't say Lord for our God because that name refers to a pagan god. That's why we try our very best not to use the word Almighty, because that's also referred to a pagan god. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. He said actually, we are not even to use the names of other gods. We're not even supposed to use the names. We're not supposed to even call the names of other gods in our mouth. And we are conditioned, ladies and gentlemen, to do this very same rebellious act as of our forefathers. And watch this. Every time we say Monday, let's start with Sunday, right? Every time we use the word Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're calling the names of other gods. You just didn't know it because no one taught you that. You have to now go do some research. If you don't know, it's because you don't want to know. Do you want to know? Because eternal life is wrapped up in the knowing. You got to know who you're serving. Because if you don't know who you're serving, then guess what? Someone is misleading you. Where's your eternal life, ladies and gentlemen? Where's your abundant life? Yahoshua, the one you mistakenly paint as white, the one you mistakenly put blonde hair and blue eyes on, Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the one you claim is the Son of God and call his name Jesus is an imposter. Now, that might hurt some of your feelings, but if you just do the research, you're going to understand that it could not be true. The letter J did not exist until the year 1524. Therefore, his name could never be Jesus. And in the scriptures, the King James Version, or Queen James Version, like Yahudah like to say, the Queen James Version tells us that that is the name given to us by which we must be saved. And the whole world drank the milk. You know what? The whole world drank the coffee, the Kool-Aid. Could never be the name because there was no letter J until the year 1524. That is why I'm having a problem now with the name Jesus. I grew up my whole life calling on the names. I sing songs, write songs, preach. I was a Christian of Christians. I keep saying that because I was committed, dedicated to the cause. But when truth comes, you have to stop and say, wait a minute. Could it be possible that I was deceived? Now, that's hard for some of you to accept, but it's okay. You must understand deception. You're living in it. You're being conditioned every day what to think, how to think, what to accept, what not to accept, what to wear, what not to wear, what to eat, what not to eat, what to watch, what not to watch, who to believe, who not to believe. The media is designed that way, to be control the minds of evildoers. You know, in the scriptures, the higher power said, I will put an evil ruler over an evil country. Who you think have the hands to set up kingdoms and tear them up? You think these men have the power to rise up because they have this bloodline? Please. They're acting foolish and they're gaining the world, but they're forfeiting their lives and they're used in the hands of Yahweh. So we must come to the reality of the truth. Who are you? You see, you can't find him if you don't know who you are. You got to know who you are. Who are you? That's one of the things that many people never take the time to ask themselves the question, who am I? There's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, why there is a genealogy record in the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, you see the Bible? We hold the Bible as a religious book. The Bible is not a religious book. I repeat, the Bible is not a religious book. It was never meant to be a religious book. The Bible is a library, a collection of books written over centuries. We don't even have the original doctrine right now. We have copies of 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 I can't even, I don't have enough breath to hold out. So I take my reliance from the preservation of the word of Yahweh by Yahweh himself. He said, I, Yahweh, will preserve my words throughout all generation. Come on, it will never skip a generation. How did he do it? Do you think he preserved his words in writings? That's one way. But he knows that when he wrote his words, evil men will come and distort it. So how does he preserve his word? Through his ruach. He endowed men like Yaodah, aka the ravenous bird of our time, to restore his counsel. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it was said, it was futuristic, it was prophecy. It's written in the Bible. Isaiah, Yashayahu, 46 verse 11. I suggest you read 46, 8 through 13. Read the whole passage right there. Yahweh has always preserved his words. But because of our rebellion, because of our rebellious heart, he has cast a curse on us, written in the book of the law, that has taken place in us, and we had no idea because we were so bound down by religion that we could not understand that we were deceived. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to focus now your attention on clues. You know, I want us to imagine right now that you are actually in a courthouse, and I am your defense attorney. Imagine that the audience, you guys, are the jury. Imagine that the religion and the religious organization is the persecutors, and the judge, because there's only one judge, ladies and gentlemen, whether you know it or not, there's only one judge. He's the ultimate, the all-seeing, all-knowing. Yes, he's the eternal higher power. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. You see, that's one of the most important things that you must know. Because if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't know, you're not worshiping. Hallowed be thy name. This word hallowed, where they make hallowed like holy, like oh no, it's your name is to be set apart. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other name like this on the planet. You can't mistake it for some other name. It's not Yahuwah. It's not Yahweh. It's not Yahweh Shai. It's not Jehovah. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's Yah-O. Yah-O. We shout the shofar. We blow the trumpet. Yah-O. Now, why we do this? We're calling upon the name restored to us by Yah-O via a ravenous bird. You need to go check him out, man. Ravenous Bird, Ravenous Bird. Ravenous. Check him out on on YouTube. They're banning him all the time on Facebook, just like they banned me. Check him out on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. And look up the true name of the creator. And while you at it, once you finish those series, go through Brought by Ships. Yahosharal, who's out there in the west, the east, the north, the west, the north, the south. I am reaching out to you. I'm pleading with you. Take a look at these things so you can know who you are. Because once you know who you are, man, you will never be the same. Our brother Malcolm was trying to help us, but he was going down a different route. He was trying to fight for equality for black people. Come on, look at our history, ladies and gentlemen. How much have we fought? How many of us died? How many white people died for us so that we can have some of the freedoms we have today? But where it really, really brought us, we have no nations. We have no government of our own. We're still being led. We're still being ruled by our oppressors. This is just, it's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. You're only free in the cage. Come on, can somebody say that with me? You're free in the cage. Freedom is true freedom is when you can govern yourselves. You look at all the nations of Africans and nations of black people and see who is governing them. Who will they answer to? No, we are Yahosharal. We are a nation in and of ourselves. We're governed by Yah-O. One of the reasons why we're in this mess is because we wanted a king over us. Go back and read it. We wanted to be like the other nations, and we reject Yah-O as our king. And because we done that, we have plunged ourselves deeper and deeper into the abyss. But he has promised to gather the children from which he scattered all over the planet. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Yah-O is the one that scattered us. You think our enemies have any power over us? They can't touch us. No matter what hellhole they put us in a hellhole, and we create that hellhole and create a culture of that hellhole. You can't stop us. We are made to be dominant. That's who we are. That's our nature. We're made to be dominant. We're made to multiply. We're made to replenish, subdue. It is our nature. That's why we are one of the most feared people on the planet. And we're one of the most mistreated on the planet as well. Every nation mistreats us. So now let's focus now our attention in the courtroom, shall we? If I have a gavel, I would have knocked it, but I don't have a gavel, so let's commence the court. As I present the evidence to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is up to you to decide for yourself that which you believe, that which you see, based upon the evidence, not upon your learning or your own opinion or understanding of the things you've known. I'm asking you to throw all of that out. All your religion, leave it outside, please. So if you're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Scientology, non-denomination, non-believer, unbeliever, whatever you are, I'm asking you to just put that outside. Leave it outside, please. And I don't even want you to come here with an open mind. I just want you to come here with your regular minds. But what I want you to do is to look at the clues. Just look at the clues. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm only going to present 3 clues to you today. I could present a whole much, but you don't have the time nor the patience. So I will present to you 3 clues. As you, ladies and gentlemen, study for yourself, when you pick up the Bible that was not meant to be a religious book, it was meant to be a historical book, a book of historical evidence about a people, about a Elohim, aka God, about a God and his children. I spoke earlier about genealogy. If you read the scriptures, you will see it always gives you a bloodline. This is very, very important if you want to understand who are the true people of the book. They must meet the evidence. They must meet the evidence of the curse. Because if they don't meet the evidence of the curse, they cannot be the truth. So I'm not going to tell you, oh, you know what? These people are not the people. These people are not. It's not for me. No, it's for you to decide. That's why Truth Matters of Broadcasting is a platform, a broadcast, a network that is viewed on Facebook and YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. My goal is to bring it throughout the world so that people like you can just really listen and come to a conclusion for yourself. My message is simple. It's one message. I don't have a whole lot of messages, guys. I'm not your regular preacher, even though, ladies and gentlemen, whether you know it or not, I'm an ordained minister. I'm a licensed minister. I'm licensed to do this. I told you I was a Christian of Christians. The operative word there, ladies and gentlemen, was, many people ask me, you sound like a Christian. You talk like a Christian. It's in my blood. It's who I was. I'm trying to wean that understanding out of myself now, because I'm realizing that, wait, the paradox of Christianity is pagan. It's pagan in origin. That is offending you. And I know, because that's your baby. You grow up. Your mothers were Christians. I understand. But I'm not asking you to look at your genealogy. I'm not asking you to look at your genealogy. I'm asking you to look at the genealogy from the bloodline of the promised seed of Abraham. Because Christianity is supposed to come out of Abraham, right? It's supposed to come out of Judaism, right? So when you look at it, which religion outdates which religion? Judaism, if you really was to really look at it, Judaism is not the first religion on the planet, you know. People think all the religions start from Judaism or Abrahamism. No. Before Abraham was born, there were the Chaldeans. They worship other gods. They were the Egyptians. They worship other gods. Okay? So that's why you have to understand. Christianity, Judaism is not the first religion or the first man-made religion. You must understand this, ladies and gentlemen. If I can only get you to understand just it's one thing. Religion, and every religion, listen to me, hear me, please. Every religion has been created by man. And every religion has the center of its center, a deity. The nations worship different gods. You must understand these things. And so your religion is centered in the worship of a god. So you have to now ask yourself the question, which God are you worshiping? Because here's the thing, you are worshiping a God. The God that we worship, and I'm only using that because I just want to keep you centered here. The Elohim we worship command us not to have any other gods before us. He command us not to make any graven images. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm presenting my case here, but I'm only going to present you 3 clues from Deuteronomy chapter 28. This God said to us, you saw with your own eyes what I have done to the Egyptians and how I have brought you upon eagle's wings. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. And brought you unto who? Myself, he said. I didn't bring you to a nation. I didn't bring you to a leader. I didn't bring you to a prime minister, a president, a king. I brought you unto myself. And then he said, you shall have no other gods. You got to look at where they were coming from. They were coming from Egypt. They were coming from the United States. The United States is Egypt. It's modern day Egypt. You don't believe me? Go do some research. Okay? He said, you shall have no other gods in Egypt, in the United States, in modern day Egypt, and in the literal Egypt in the past. They worship multiple gods. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We have a law in the West that give you the right to worship whoever you feel like worshiping. Isn't there a law that says the Congress shall make no law respecting any religion? America is not a Christian nation. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You might think America is a Christian nation. It's not. America is a nation of multiple gods. America doesn't worship the God of the Hebrew. America doesn't worship the God of the eternal Yahweh. They don't. Because the first thing he says, you must not have any other gods before me. If America was a Christian nation, he would never make a law like that. The law that is produced by the nation is against the law of Yahweh. Therefore, America could never be a Christian nation because it allows other gods to be worshipped alongside the so-called Christian gods that they claim to worship. And I'm going to show you that the Christian God is not the same God of the Bible, the very Bible you carry in your hands, even though it's a watered-down version of the truth, you see. But it's all right. You have a spirit in you. You have a Nuach in you. And for those who are listening to me, you are hearing this, and something is stirring up in your brain because you say, wait a minute, there's something about what this guy's saying and how he's saying it. You're feeling it. You can't quite understand what you're feeling yet because you're in conflict with yourself. That's what the truth does. The truth brings conflict. It brings confusion. And within that confusion and conflict, when your mind, your subconscious is settled, then you can start asking the real questions. Look at your church. Come on, look at your center of worship, ladies and gentlemen. Can you find images in there? Come on now. I'm presenting my case to you. You have to decide. Do you find images in your center of worship. What about, let's talk about Christianity, because I was a Christian, so I can't talk about any other religion on the planet. But you don't need eyes to see. It's filled with images. But let's talk about Christianity. Is there any image in the church that is worship, that is set up on the steeple, that's all over the church, on the books, everything? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's a cross there. And you were fooled and bamboozled that that's the cross of so-called Jesus. But did not Jesus tell you pick up your own cross if you were reading the Bible? He never told you to pick up his cross. He's telling you to pick up your own if you're reading the Bible. And for the record, he didn't die on a cross, by the way. He died on a tree. Just read the Bible. Read the Romans, Galatians, and all these. These are things. These are some of the books that we kind of rejected, those kind of books, because you know what? They go against the Torah. And anything that goes against the Torah is not real doctrine. The law of Masha is real doctrine. Yahushua preach that, aka the one you mistakenly call Jesus. He preached that. Look at it. Look at it in the book of Mark. I know the Bible, man. I know the Bible. I'm no strangers to it. I know it. It's written in my mind. And through that mix up stuff, I reached out to the true creator God, and he grant me the opportunity of wisdom and true understanding. Change my life. And that's why I'm coming to you from the far east, baby. I sold my possessions and my goods, sold our forever house, gave away my cars, sold my bike, closed my business, and pick up my wife and my daughter and move to the Far East in search of the truth of Yahweh. Because let me tell you something. Many of you think that you were centered. The center of civilization is from Africa. Oh, Mama Africa, how are you? I'm feeling fine, and I hope you're fine too. That's Garnet Silk. Tragic the way he died. That's my cousin. We're related. That's my real cousin, by the way. And King Rhymes. King Rhymes. Go check him out on YouTube. King Rhymes, Rythmez. That's how you spell it, I think. Rythmez or something like that. King Rhymes is my brother. That's my blood brother. And he sings a song about Africa. Oh, Mama Africa, Mama, Mama Africa. Oh, Mama Africa, Mama. It's beautiful. The song's beautiful. Bob Marley, I will be in Zimbabwe. Korea go in Zimbabwe. We sing songs about it because we believe that Africa is the land of our origin, and it's not. See, these comes to understanding, true understanding. Africa is not the land of your origin. When we flee Europe, when we flee Asia, we migrate into Egypt. We migrate. Oh, my brother's calling. Sorry about that. Stop my whole thing here. Jeez. Oh, yo, stop calling me. My brother's calling me, man. Oh, he's calling me again on this phone. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Hey, man, I'm live. I can't talk to you right now. I'll call you right back, okay? I will call you back. I'm live. I'm live on my broadcasting. Let me call you right back. All right. He just interrupt all my thing here. I don't know why I answer that. I know my brother, he's gonna just keep calling me and calling me and calling me. He's not gonna stop. He just interrupt my recording because I should have put this thing on Do Not Disturb. It's my fault. But all right, let me see if I can. I guess I can continue. All right, we'll just mess up the whole recording. Look at that. I tell you, boy. I tell you. All right. So that was podcast Podbean. I'm gonna see if I can splice it. If I can't splice it, I'm gonna just continue that another time. We go on to 32 minutes anyway. So all right, cool. So Where was I? As I was so rudely interrupted. Right? So, Mama Africa, we believe Africa was the origin of our birth. No, we were passing through. We sought refuge in Africa. We sought asylum in Africa. We, the true children of Yahushua, and we started to multiply, and our culture started to left imprints on Africa. But later on, Africa sold us into slavery. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be real here. You ever heard about black and black crime? One of the biggest things people like to say, oh, well, what about black and black crime? Let me tell you something, man. Not all black people are Yaosher Al. Not all black-skinned people are of the seed, the promised seed of Abraham. You got to look down the genealogy because this is very important. Yes, so when we migrate to Africa, we try to make a home in Africa. And then from Africa, we were sold into slavery. Let me just do part 2 here, record that. Let me save this. And part 1. Hold on, I could do that. I never even thought about that. Let's do Far East. The Far East. Save that. Okay, now let me go back and just do part 2. All right. I'm just gonna go. I'm not even gonna do an intro for that. I'm just gonna go right into it. So give me an opportunity here just to set this up. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me again. This is part 2 of the Far East. No intro. I'm just gonna go straight into it because this is such an important topic. I don't want you to miss any of it. So, thank you for joining me again. I'm Meka Alban Yaosharal, and this is Process to Purpose. So, Africa, which we sing about, which we adore as the motherland of the birthplace of life, we're gravely mistaken. After the flood, the ark did not land in Africa. No, ladies and gentlemen. See, these things I learned through a via ravenous bird, the man who is called by Yahweh to restore his counsel. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me say it again. RAVENOUSBIRD, ravenous bird. Yes, a man of our origin. Yes, ethnicity. Yes, background. Yes, a man that looked just like me. Yes, speaking from my people. Yes, yes, yes. This is how Yahweh, the true God of the Hebrew, operates. You never see he call someone outside of his people to deliver messages to his people. He always raised up a people from within his people and say, go tell them what we say. And let me just make this 100% clear. You don't have to be a bloodline to be his people. You can join yourself to him and you can be accepted. Isaiah 56, 1 through 6. Actually, 1 through, just read the whole thing. Just read Isaiah 56. You will see that there are folks out there who are not of this fold that can be joined into this fold if they what? Meet the requirement. The requirement is what? To keep his covenant. Come on now. Keep his covenant. Keep his Shabbat. Happy Shabbat, ladies and gentlemen. Shabbat. The Shabbat, the 7th day of the week, is his holy day. He commands us to keep it holy, holy, holy. I'm excited this morning. Why am I so excited this morning? Is it because I got my car yesterday? Yeah, I got my car. Beautiful. But that's not why. That's not why I got my car. Is it because I'm alive today? Yeah, that's true. That's a little bit of it, but that's not why. I'm excited today because Yahweh chose to wake me up this morning. Come on, man. You know the reward in that? You do you know the reward in being alive? Come on, man. No amount of money. If I was to give you $1,000,000 right now and tell you you're gonna die tonight, would the $1,000,000 be important to you? If I traded $1,000,000 for your life, will the $1,000,000 be more important to you? I've never heard a guy or a person on their deathbed, if they get that lucky to die on a bed with families around them, I've never heard them ask once about their money. They never ask about their education, about their businesses. They always focus on what they could have done, should have done, the forgiveness they should have forgiven, the good that they could have done. I always hear that. You know, when my grandmother was dying, her heart, this is my grandmother's heart. Listen to what she said. She said, I'm poured out. I've done all I can. There's nothing more I can do. That's what my grandmother said before she died. She was thinking about us even to her last breath. What she could do for us. That woman slaved her life so that I can have the life I have now. She put in me the mindset and the imagery of success and loving and sharing and giving. She taught me a lot, man. My grandmother, Yahweh rest her soul. I hope to see you again, my grandma. We as a people must understand the truth about who we are. We must understand the truth about who this creator is, and then we can put everything into perspective. So now, without further ado, let me just get into it here. The reason why genealogy is so important, knowing who you are is so important, because if you don't know who you are, then you're lost. This is the true meaning of being lost, ladies and gentlemen. You just don't know who you are. You just don't know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you could never find your deity. You got to know who you are. And so if you chase the genealogy through the seed of Abram, the promised seed of Abram, you would see that Abram have two children, two boys in the beginning there. One Ishmael, but he was not the promised seed of the covenant made with Abram. But he was a seed. He came from the loins. He came from the loins of Abraham. Abram, sorry. Yeah, that's still his name. It's still pronounced Abram, not Abraham. It's pronounced Abram. He was of the seed. He was Abram's seed. But he was not the seed of the promise. And he does not have the covenant. So we have to exclude the Ishmaelites. Not as the seed, but the seed of the promise covenant. So now you have to chase Isaac. Now Isaac have two boys, twin boys. Yahweh has told long before it happened that the older will serve the younger. And that's why when what you call Jacob came out, he grabbed onto the heel of his brother Esau. And you see the play out in life. Yahweh exclaimed, Esau, I hate. Come on now. That's very serious. So now if you chase the line of the Ishmaelites, who are they today? I'm not going to get into that. That's your research. Go do that on your own. Who are the children of Esau today? Go trace that on your own. The information is there. Because now you have to understand who are the children of Jacob today. And that's why we're here in the Far East, because we know who we are. Now, so we have to reject the children of Esau. That means we're rejecting a whole lineage, not as a people, but as a people of the promised covenant. This is important. We have to reject the Ishmaelites and his descendants, not as a people. We're not rejecting them as a people. We're rejecting them as the promised seed of the covenant of Abraham by Yahweh. So now we come to Jacob, who has 12 sons. Come on now. This is why you must go watch Brought by Ships by a Ravenous Bird on YouTube, so you can get a true understanding. Now, in order to know who these children are, they have to meet the curse of Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 through 68. Because if they don't meet the curse, ladies and gentlemen, then they cannot be the children of the promised seed. There are a lot of Israelites out there. There are a lot of black people who are calling themselves Israelites, true Israelites. There are a fraction of them out there. Okay? There are a lot of people who are calling themselves Israel. And my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, if they are the true Israel, they have to meet these 3 clues that I'm going to give you now. And these 3 clues can be found in Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. So you're going to have to read it. First clue number 1. They have to be brought by ships. Come on now. That's what I'm telling you. Go check out the Ravenous Bird, Ravenous. Let me slow that down. RAVENOUSBIRD. Check out the Ravenous Bird on YouTube and look up the 4-part series Brought by Ships. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, ma'am. I'm telling you, audience, jury, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're going to be blown away. And then you should pack up everything and come to the Far East. But anyway, that's just a jokey joke. No, that's just a joke. I'm serious, but it's a joke. You know what I mean? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to point you in a direction for you to do what you need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, many people died for being a heretic. Many was slaughtered for being a heretic. A heretic is defined as one who thinks and decide for oneself. That makes you dangerous to the establishments. Who was it that says, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I don't want you thinking. I want you working. So they create these Ferris wheels for you to step on. And you've been on it ever since. They gave you religion. They gave you jobs. They gave you schools. They gave you everything you have. And they give you a purpose. What was the purpose they gave you? They gave you a purpose to chase the American dream, or chase the piece of the pie. You've been doing it ever since. And you're locked in a system of what I call a Ferris wheel. And you will never know the truth. They gave you entertainment, movies, talk shows upon talk shows. They gave you series and series upon different types of shows and games and entertainment and music to keep you docile, to keep you in a state of entertainment. The word entertain comes from the root word enter and hold. You see, to entertain someone is to trap them, to hold them in a state of, to keep them coming back. So go look up the word entertainment. You'll see it. Someone is holding your attention so that you can't truly pay attention. Come on, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You're so busy trying to get that money. You're so busy trying to get that education. So busy trying to get that husband, that wife. So busy trying to get the house and the car. And you're so busy that you don't know you're wasting away. 65 years from now, when you actually not 65 years, when you become 65, you're at a place of retirement. How many people can truly retire at 65? How many people can retire at 65? Honestly. Not many people can retire at 65. Not many people have a retirement plan. Not many people know how much money it's going to take for them to live the rest of their lives after 65. The average American don't have $1,000 in their bank account. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. It's designed that way. Can't get a loan. Can't open a business. It's designed that way to keep you in debt. And then you get a piece of the pie. You get a house and you're so excited. Oh, I bought a house. And you're excited. I bought a house. So I was very excited. But that house, ladies and gentlemen, that you bought, that was so excited for you, has become a debt trap for you. You're going to pay for it until you die. You're going to die paying for the house. Because your house that is cost, let's say the average house in the Americas right now, let's just say you might be lucky to find a house for $250,000. Let's just say you might just be lucky to find a house for $250,000. With the interest compiled over the years, let's say you're smart and you pay one extra payment on your payment for a year, then you knock down your mortgage by 15 years. So let's just say within 15 years, if you're smart, most people are not that smart, and I'm not saying you're dumb, I'm just saying you're not smart in this area. Let's say you knock it down for 15 years. Now, ask yourself the question, in 15 years of paying your monthly payment, how much of that goes towards the principal and how many of that payment goes towards the interest? So you calculate what you're going to be paying in interest in 15 years versus what you're going to pay for your house. And you do the numbers. You see that if you're smart enough and pay one extra mortgage per year, you will see that you might still pay for your house twice the cost of your house. So you knock down the cost from 3 times the cost of your house over, or 4 times the cost of your house over 30 years to 2 times the cost of your house. So in 15 years, when you think you're going to pay $250,000 for your house, you're paying about $500,000 for your house. They're not doing you no favor by giving you a house. They're not doing no favor by giving you a loan. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. They give you, you know why they check your credit? You know why they have a credit system? They have a credit system to see if you can be trusted to pay them the money without default. You know how many times your mortgage is sold? Your note is sold. You're paying for the first year, you pay your mortgage. 2 years, you're paying your mortgage to this company. Next thing you know, another company inherit your mortgage. Now you're paying to that company. And over the 30 years, you might be paying to 5, 6 companies because they're selling it as they go. It's a money-making scheme, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a trap. They're not doing you any favors. They're exploiting you. I had a mortgage. Trust me. Now, your mortgage now, depending on how much you put down, depending on your interest rate, you got to pay that mortgage. And you think they care if you pay for the last 15 years, you never missed the payment? They don't give a damn. If, I'm telling you right now, if you pay for the last 15 years, not missing one payment, and you miss one payment, let's say you just miss one payment, you're in a hard time, you can't make that one payment, they're coming for that house. They are coming for the house. If you owe taxes on it, they're coming for it. So that house becomes your master. So if the house becomes your master, the house can't talk. The house can't give instructions. So who's really your master? You're a master of the debtor. They own you and they own your loyalty. So you work your butt off to pay for the house. So when you're sick, you have to go to work because you got to make that mortgage payment. If you want true freedom, man, you got to come to the Far East because the Far East breaks your curse. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. I'm living in it. I learned this from the ravenous bird, Yaoda, the man called by Yao to restore his counsel. I'm learning these things. And let me tell you something. My mortgage and to operate my house in the States was about $45,000 to $5,000 a month. That's what I was paying for my mortgage and my living expenses. $45,000 to $5,000 a month. It fluctuates between $45,000 and $5,000. I paid up my whole, and I'm not, listen, please understand what I'm saying here. I'm not boasting. I'm not prideful here. I'm just giving you facts as I lay down truth to you so you can discern for yourself. I'm just giving you facts. I paid up my whole year. I have a 3-bedroom, one which I turned into my office studio, 2 bathrooms, and a nice open concept, a side garage, bike garage, backyard. $6,440. $6,440. I'll say it one more time just in case you didn't hear me. I said $6,440. That's what I said. I paid up my rent for the whole darn year. I've never done that before. I paid 2 months, 3 months mortgage ahead of time. I paid up my whole mortgage, my whole rent. I rent in this house. I don't own it. I'm renting this house. I rent this house. My whole rent for the whole year is $6,440 dollars. I am free of worrying about paying my rent, about a place to live for the whole year. I don't have to worry about that. Let me just tell you what I found out yesterday. So I went to pick up my car yesterday. It's beautiful. It was a really nice thing. I'm going to do a whole makeup on that. And listen, if you guys are not following me on the social medias, man, you got to follow me on the social medias because I'm not here to brag. I'm just here to tell you what Yah always doing in my life and have been doing for other people that are living here. Follow me on these social medias. Follow me on Facebook, which we're on right now, Meka Albania Osharal. Follow me on TikTok at Meka Al1. Meka Al spell Maychal. Ban, B-A-N, Yaosharal, Y-A apostrophe O-H. It's a group writing, Yao. That's why it's a Yao, right? The Ravenous Bird will teach you that. Okay? Sharal. So it's Y-A apostrophe O-H Sharal. That's Yaosharal. It's a nation. It's a people. That's where they get the word Israel from. I told you guys before, if you really look up the word Israel, that's a Trinity God. Just go look it up. We are Yaosharal. We're different. All right, good. So I just get my car yesterday, and I was excited about it. We did all the paperwork. It was awesome. And just as I'm about to get into my car and drive off, I realized something. Wait a minute, we didn't talk about insurance. I'm like, yo. Okay. The guy said, yo, I'm glad you spoke of that. And we start to get the paperwork ready for the insurance for the car. And we're going through, I say liability, comprehensive and all these things. So I wanted comprehensive. I don't want to get into an accident. And the road code here is different. So I want to make sure I have all the insurance I can get. And then the guy told me $15,000. And I'm thinking, okay. I worked it out in the American dollars. 15,000 pesos is about $270, give and take. $270. 270 US dollars is about 15,000 pesos here. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can do that. Let's get it. So we getting the paperwork ready. to get my car insurance for 15,000 pesos, which is 270 plus give and take dollars US. And I'm thinking that's going to be my monthly payment. So I'm very excited about that. Then Ipoy said, no, sir, it's not a monthly payment. It's a yearly payment. I'm like, what? I'm like, what did you say? What did you just say to me? I said, no, it's not. The $15,000 is for the year. I had to take a moment. You see, I had to take a moment. I really had to take a moment. I'm like, I take a breather. I'm like, hold on. One-time payment of $15,000 for the whole year? Yes, sir. Okay, let's get it on. Ladies and gentlemen, in the States, my monthly payment was $360 a month. That's what I paid for insurance for my car. $360 a month. That's what I was paying. I'm paying $270 for one car for $15,000 pesos, 15,000 pesos for one car for the year. Now, mind you, I had about 4 or 5 cars on my insurance in the States. So my payments probably would have been about maybe 150, maybe 200, 250 for the 2 cars. But I had 6 or so cars on my thing. So I lived in Maine. So my payments in Maine was totally different if I was living in New York. When I was living in New York, I was paying $5,000 for 6 months. So you work out that, you go 5,000 times 6, you're talking about over $500 a month. And that was for liability only. So when I moved to Maine, Maine was different. The insurance was different. I paid less for more. So now I come to the Philippines where I now reside. And I'm paying 15,000 pesos, 270 plus dollars. Let's call it $275 for a whole year. So I'm talking about freedom, ladies and gentlemen. I love this place. I'm glad that I came. I would have do it all over again. If I had to do it over again, I would have do it over again and again and again and again and again and again. And I tell you, I love this place. It's humbling for me. This place has humbled me because I'm living like a king here. I live like a king where I'm at. So don't be twisted. What I'm saying is that what's so humbling here is because I'm looking around me and I don't see people living like me that much. You see a very selective few. And I'm asking myself the question, what can I do for this country that is doing so much for me? So I have a plan. I'm building a foundation. Y'all going to hear about that in very, very, very soon. So you follow me on these social media, especially now living in the Philippines. I got living in the Philippines here, but I changed it because I couldn't find it. There's so many different YouTube channels called Living in the Philippines. I add now to mine, Now Living in the Philippines. Go check that out. You're going to see what I'm doing here, man. It's beautiful. It's just amazing. We started this about 2 weeks ago, and we're up to about almost 4,000 subscribers already. I have a lot of Filipino followers, man. I love you. If you're Filipino, man, kudos to you. Filipinos are some of the kindest and gentlest people I've ever met. When I talk about respect to the utmost. When I'm talking about hard workers, man, I don't see Filipinos holding out there. Even though this country is a developing country and a lot of poor people live here, you give them something to do and they'll do it. They'd rather work than beg. I'm telling you, I see that. I witnessed that. But when you go into the province, it's really rough out there. We live in the city. I live in Talisay, in the Cebu area. So it's more developed and a lot more people are more work-oriented here. When you go into the rural areas where, you know, people are really struggling, man. I'm not gonna be a host in this country and not give back to the country. Just who I am. Yaoshua, aka the one you mistakenly called. Jesus said, "Let your light shine, that others may see your good work and glorify Yahweh." So I'm gonna shine some light. I wrote a song about that, man. I took that little song from my Christian days, This little light of mine, don't you know that I'm gonna let it shine? Oh, this little light of mine. I took that song, man. I just turned it around. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. All around my neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, when I'm in school, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm in a bad mood, I'm gonna let it shine. Angry and confused, I'm gonna let it shine. It is the light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. When I pray and no answer, I'm gonna let it shine. And if my mom have cancer, I'm gonna let it shine. And when my heart is broken, I'm gonna let it shine. This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let your light so shine and let it shine it well. Oh, let your light so shine like a city on a hill. Should I hide it under bushel? No. Oh, should I hide it under bushel? No. And I won't let Satan blow it up. Ooh, yeah. Y'all, listen to me, man. This is who I am. I was given a gift, and I'm going to use that gift, not for my own validation or acceptance, but I'm going to use what I got to give glory to the one, the true Yahweh. Thank you, Yahweh, for giving me these gifts. I pray that they may be accepted in your sight. All right, in closing, let's close this thing. Here are the 3 clues. Clue number 1, they must be brought by ships. And not just jump on a ship and go somewhere and jump on a ship and go somewhere. They must be brought by ships as slave through every nation on earth. The curse said, Yahweh said he will scatter us amongst the nations. So they have to be brought by ship, sold as slave through all nations. That means they must be on every continent on this planet. And they must got there by slave. At first, indentured slave sold themselves as indentured slave, and then they become chattel slaves. Now, if you claim to be a Yaosha'al and you escape the enslavement or the curse, you are not, and I repeat, you are not the children of the promise. You may be the seed of Abraham, but you're not the seed of the promise. The seed of the promise must go through slavery. And the transatlantic slave trade is the curse. The beginning of the curse for us. So that must be number 1. Number 2, they must suffer 400 years. What did I say? 400 years. What did I say? 400. So they must have a history of a 400-year entrapment in slavery. Now you got to go back in your history now and ask yourself the question, who are they that has been enslaved 400 years? Call out all the nations you can think about. Every nation on this earth that you can think about. And ask yourself the question, has their people ever been enslaved 400 years? What was clue number 3? I can't remember clue number 3 now. I'm so excited. I lost clue number 3. Let me see here. Clue number 1, must be brought by ships. Clue number 2, must be enslaved 400 years. And what's clue number 3? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm going blank right now. Yahweh, help me. There's many, many clues, but there's 3 specific clues that I have in my mind. And I'm going blank. Does that ever happen to any one of you? You just thought about something and then all of a sudden you just go blank? And I preach this all the time and going blank. Brought by ships, enslaved 400 years. I'm off to give you another one. That's not the one I had in my mind, though. They have to be able to chase their lineage through Abraham. They have to be able to go back to Abraham and chase their lineage through Abraham. They have to be of the promised seed of Abraham. So when you do that genealogy chase, it has to line up with Abraham. Now, many nations on earth can do that. Many nations that come out, because remember now, Yahweh made 12 nations out of Ishmael. 12 nations, he said. 12 princes should come out of him. 12 princes came out of him. And we have to look at Esau. Esau also has princes come out of him. So they have to chase their lineage back to Abram. They have to be brought by ships, and they have to have a 400 year. A 400 year. 400 years of slave enslavement. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when you read Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 18, you will see for yourself. Because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a people who has suffered those curses and everything that was written in the curse of Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. Look at all the curses, then look at the Atlantic slave trade, and then ask yourself the question, does it apply? If it doesn't, then throw out everything I'm saying. Because everything I'm saying will be a lie or incorrect or not accurate. No, a lot of people don't like to use the word lie. If it doesn't apply, then what I'm teaching is a lie. But if it applies, then if you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are the children of the promise. And now the Creator, Yahweh, has a word for you. And the word for you is this: come out of her, my people. Come on now. Come out of her, my people. Come out of her, my people, so that you may not be partakers of her plague. Ladies and gentlemen, a fire is coming. You know, many people did not believe that when our father Noah, what we call today Noah, was building the ark. This crazy guy, crazy black guy, building an ark in the middle of nowhere on dry land. He must be out of his darn mind. Nobody builds a boat far away from the water unless you have a way to push the boat to get to the water. It's just ludicrous. It didn't make sense. If you're going to build a boat, you want to build it near the sea. You build it on land, but then you have a way to roll it down. I was a shipbuilder, y'all. I know this thing. You have to have a way to launch it in the water. But Noah was not building his ship near any water. He was building his ship on dry land. That's crazy. They must have laughed him to scorn. No one knew, no one believed that a flood was coming to destroy them, take them away. No one believed. In the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, these are cities. It's not the whole world. Cities. No one believed that Yahweh was going to burn those cities. No one believed. They were prosperous. They were doing very well. Obeying their own laws, making rules for themselves, governing themselves. They didn't care about Yahweh. But Yahweh is king. He's supreme. No one knew he was going to destroy those cities. They were living in rebellion against his laws. Rebellion, ladies and gentlemen, rebellion in its absolute is rebellion. You see that sin of rebellion? It's an unforgivable sin. Let me tell you why. Because rebellion is not a sin that you commit where you're looking for redemption. Rebellion is a sin that you commit where you're not looking for redemption. You don't care. You know you heard, but you care not to do. You have set your mind against the truth. That is the sin of rebellion. What can the king do with you when you set your mind against him but to destroy you? They didn't know. So 4 people were speared out of the city, and the command was not to look back. And 1 looked back, turned into a pillar of salt. That is a warning for us today. For those of you who are making your way to Madbar, we call Madbar the wilderness. We're not in Madbar yet. We're in the land of Madbar. A wilderness is an unoccupied territory. We're looking to go into that unoccupied territory, but you know what? Not going to divulge a lot of information on that. But we're in the land of the Far East, where we are called the Isles of the Sea, where Yahweh will restore to us once again his laws, his covenant. He's going to make a new covenant. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the covenant that I would make with the house of what? Yahusharal after those days. He's not making this covenant with the nations. He's not making this covenant with the world. He's not making this covenant with the governments of this world. He's making that covenant with Yahusharal, his people that he has gathered from the remnant of those who he has scattered all over the nations, all over the world. A very few of us are here now who have answered the call to come back to hear the word of Yahweh and move, just like Noah did, just like our father Abram, just like Noah did, just like Lot did, just like Moses, Masha did, just like Joshua did, just like the prophets did. They heard the word of Yahweh and they moved on it. And when they moved, Yahweh blessed them. But like I said, if you were to read the Bible, and you will see they get away from his laws and they start doing these things. And let me tell you how they always go away into the abyss is by your leaders. Your leaders are exploiting you. They're the ones that are keeping the kingdom away from you. They themselves won't go in, and they won't allow anyone to go in, because if you go in, then you're no longer under their control. You're no longer under their tutelage. They use religion. They use the governments of this world. They use the secret societies. They use everything to stop you from getting into the kingdom, from hearing this truth. But it can't stop you because you're here. Come out of her, he says. My people, come on now. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Come on now, read the rest of that now. Because they have rejected. Come on, what they have done? Rejected. They have rejected. You know what I mean? That they heard it and they said, we don't want it. They have rejected the law of your Elohim, your God. I have rejected you and your children. That's why we were into slavery, because we have rejected the laws of our Elohim. Now he's restoring it. I will make a new covenant. Come on now. I will make a new covenant after those days. After those days. After those days. That means those days have to pass first. After those days, I will make a new covenant with the house of Yahusharal and the house of Judah. It will not be like the covenant I made with their forefathers when I led them by the hand and took them out of the land. See, he who took them out before, he was the one who led them by the hand and take them out. This time he's telling you to come out. Come on, there's a difference. Because he said it will not be like the covenant he made with our forefathers when he took them by the hands and led them out. They did not stay faithful to his command. This time he says, I'm going to give you a command and you come out. So it's all on you now. Because he's making a covenant with you, but you have to come out. Come out of her, he says. That's why I'm here with my family. For those that I left behind, I'm hurting, but hey, everybody has to make their own decision. I've made mine. And let me tell y'all something. I'm so serious about this that if my beautiful wife, who I love with my every heart, my every beat of my heart, if she had said to me, I'm not coming, I would kiss her and I would leave everything to her. It's all yours, take it. I said, I just want one guitar. I would take one guitar with me, a few bags, a few clothes, a few shoes, and probably about $5,000. And I would have left. And I left her with everything. All of it, yours. That's how serious I am about being here. This will not be like the covenant I made with your forefathers when I led them by the hands and took them out by the hands, and they did not remain faithful. Watch this. This is the covenant. You know, most of you Jesus followers talks about the new covenant in his blood. And most of you don't understand what covenant he's talking about. Because a covenant is a contract between people, or between God and his people, Elohim and his people. And the covenant that he made, if you notice, it was the Passover. The Passover that Christianity has make a mockery of by giving you this little cup of juice and this little piece of bread. It's a mockery. The covenant of the Passover is to be celebrated a different way than what we've been doing all these years. This little cup of juice and this little piece of bread does not represent the covenant Passover that we are to remember from generation to generation. We are to still take the Passover. Yahushua, the one you claim is Jesus, said, do this in remembrance of me, he said. Okay, now. It was supposed to be prepared a certain way, eaten in haste. Anyway, this is the covenant that I would make with the house of Yahushua and the house of Judah. Who is he making with it with? The house of Yahushua. So if you can't chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are excluded from this covenant. This is the covenant I made with them after those days. Listen to what he says. Listen very carefully. This is going to change your life now. This is a life-changing moment for you. Listen, Yahweh, he's speaking, not me. I will put my laws in their minds and write them upon their hearts. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Did you hear that? Are you listening? What is he going to do? The very laws that Christianity says no longer applicable? As if to say the creator heaven, the creator of the heavens and the earth, change when he himself exclaimed, I change it not. What did he say he's going to do? I will put my laws in their minds and write them in their hearts. That's your subconscious mind. Now listen to what he says now. And I will be their God. Come on now. Our Father, our Creator. I'll be their God. And they will be my people. So in order to be his people, in order for us to be his God, he, Creator, Elohim, the one true greatest higher power, has to put his laws here. So if he don't do that, if you don't have his laws, he cannot be your God. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care if you're from the bloodline or not from the bloodline. Don't think because you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade that you get a free pass. You're not even my brother if you're not obeying the laws of God, Yahweh. Did not Yahushai taught this lesson when they asked him, your mother and your brothers outside. Your mother and your brothers outside. They want to see you. He turned to the crowd. He turned to them and said, who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my sister? Then he turned to his disciples. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You read in the Bible. Here are my mothers, my brothers, and my sisters. Here are they that do the will of my Father. He rejected his blood parents, his blood sisters, his blood brothers as his brothers. Yes, physically they're his brothers. Physically they're his sisters. I got physical brothers, physical sisters, and physical children. But if I was really to look at what is taught here, the children of Yahosher Al who are keeping the laws of Yahweh, his covenant, are my true brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers. Sorry, I only have one father. That is the lesson taught here, ladies and gentlemen, by your so-called Jesus. So don't be mistaken. Then he said in that covenant, I'm closing now. Here he said, never again. Come on. Never again. What is it? Never again shall a man teach his brother, teach his neighbor, saying, know Yahweh. Come on now. It's not my responsibility to teach you who he is. Not my responsibility. My responsibility is to give you his word. Your responsibility is to know who he is. Never again shall a man teach his brother, his neighbor, say, know Yahweh. They'll all know me, he said. From the least to the greatest. And I, he said, will forgive their unrighteousness and remember their sins no more. He's the one who's going to forgive us. He's the one who's gonna forget all our sins. He's the one that's going to do it. But he will not do it unless he can make a covenant with you, reestablish a new covenant. No, not reestablish. Give you a new covenant where you are entering into a contract with him. The question is, will you uphold your part of the covenant? What is your part of the covenant? To come out of her. You must come out of the nation from which he scattered you. And he's not doing it where he's going to part the open sea and let you out by the hands. He said he's never going to do that again. He said he's going to make a new covenant where he's going to give you the command. Because you see, if you can't obey him and come out, how are you going to obey him when he gives you his laws? You're not going to obey them. He has to test you first. He always tests his people. He tests to see if you obey. And the test is obedience. That's why he said, Abram obeyed my voice, my precept, my charge, and my laws. He kept them. He said the same thing about Noah. Noah kept my laws, my precept, and my charge. Will he say the same thing about you? The children of Israel plunged into slavery because they disobeyed. But then Yahweh does what he does all the time. He finds one worthy person who he raised up, restore that person, and then send that person to go restore his children. Some of their prophets they kill. Some they sawed in two. Some they cut off their heads. Some they mistreat. Some they boil in oil. They do all types of misery to his prophets. And then Yahweh unleashes fury on his people and the nation. Listen to me. If Yahweh unleash his fury on his children like that, what is he going to do to the nation that they served as slaves? You need to read the Bible, man. The very Old Testament they're trying to keep you from not reading. You need to start reading it so you can get the example. These things are written and they're there, and you just got to read them. All right. So it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Me and my family is where we want to be because we chose to be here. We chose to be here and we're truly free. I'm telling you, I'm truly free. I'm set free for the first time in my life. I think when I was a child, I was free because I didn't worry about nothing. My parents took care of everything. I feel like a child again because I feel like Yahweh, our Father, is taking care of everything. Opportunities are opening for me here that is just amazing. Things are happening so fast. We got a house so fast. We got a car and a bike so fast. We meet some very important people. We meet the counselor. I'm actually going to the counselor's house now. I'm going to do a vlog on him, how you become a counselor. So stay tuned to my channel, Now Living in the Philippines, to see that. I'm going to be doing some things here. I'm going to create a foundation to help the poor and needy here. I'm going to do some things here, man. I'm going to shine my light here. You know what I mean? And it's just part of who I am. But I just tell you, I just feel so free. I honestly feel like a child in my Father's house. And that's all I want to be, a child in my Father's house. That's all I want to be. I want to spend my Father's money. I want to have my Father's credit card to use at will because he got so much money. I don't even. I want to drive my Father's car. This car down here, they say my car is it's not my car. It's my Father's car. That bike is my Father's bike. This house that I live in, my Father's house. I live in my Father's house. I drive my Father's car. That's the attitude I have. My life is not my own. You see, ladies and gentlemen, he took all the responsibilities that I will concern myself about. He took it all from me. So then if he did that, what is my purpose now for living? It's to go help someone who has all these concerns that is bagging them down to say, hey, come live in your Father's house so that you can enjoy the spoils of your daddy. And that's what I'm here to say. I'm not focusing on my life anymore. I'm focusing on others who are struggling. That's what I was sent to do. I was sent to restore truth to the believer. And that's why I come here on the Shabbat morning, giving you intel and information through these broadcasting. I can sit in my office in the Philippines, the Far East, and infect millions. This is power in my hands right here. It's power in my hands. And that's why those who control the airways try to block me all the time. But you can't block Yahweh. You can't stop Yahweh. If you shut me down, he's going to create somebody else going to do it. You think the networks belongs to you, so you're trying to block the truth, but you can't. The network belongs to Yahweh. All the gold and silver belongs to him. He was the one who gave you the knowledge to have the network. He was the one who gave you the knowledge to have the internet. He was the one who gave you the knowledge to build things. You think you create something because it comes through you and it operates through you. You create it, you own it. You don't own nothing. You're going to die one day, and everything that is here is going to be run by someone else. You don't own nothing. Nothing belongs to you. One of the biggest problems we have in life is that we want to own things and we think it belongs to us. It does not belong to us. I'm learning these things. That's why nothing means nothing to me. People were like, you selling your house, man? You worked so hard to get this house, man. You giving up your business? You crazy? Yes, I am crazy. I'm crazy for Yahweh. He sustained my life. He woke me up in the morning. I don't listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what happened when I go to sleep. Do you know what happened when you go to sleep? Can any one of you tell me what happened around you when you go to sleep? So every night every night I die every night. Sometime at 10 o'clock, sometime at 8 o'clock, sometime at 7 o'clock, sometime at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I die every night because I don't know what's going on. I have absolutely no control when I'm asleep. Nothing. I don't know what's happening around me. I don't know what happened in the next. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. I don't have control of those things. All I know is that I put my head on the pillow and in the morning I got up. I don't know how I got up, but I got up. Someone rose me up this morning, and that someone is Yahweh, and I'm so grateful to him. I want to give thanks to him. I want to glorify his name. My existence is about him. I'm not living for myself. I got my wife. I got my children. I'm living for them. I got grandchildren coming. Yes, I left some people behind. My children, if you're listening to this, hope you are listening to this. You may think I left you behind, but no, ladies and gentlemen, no, my children. I want to prepare a place for you. Come on now. That's what Yahushua said. I go to prepare a place for you, and I go to prepare a place for you. I'll come back and bring you back onto myself. But I need you to understand what he's talking about. What is that place he prepared for you? Is it not in the Father's presence? You see, Christianity make you want to go to heaven. Christianity is preparing you for heaven. Religion, all the religions are preparing you to go up into space. But you've been misinformed. You've been misled. Space is coming to you. Heaven is coming to you. You don't even realize that you pray this every time you pray the so-called Lord's Prayer. You're not listening to what you're saying. You're not listening to what you're saying. So you're preparing your mind to go to heaven. You're no earthly good. Heaven is coming to you, ladies and gentlemen. The Father is coming down. He's not preparing you to go up. He's preparing himself to come down to you. He wants to come down to you. He wants to reestablish his kingdom on earth. This is why when Yahushua, aka Jesus, preached, what did he preach? The kingdom of heaven is here. That is the message. It's not Christianity. The message is not even baptism. Jesus, so-called, never preached baptism. He spoke to one guy about it. And he commanded his disciples to go bring people into a knowledge of being born again. It means to have a new understanding, renew understanding of what you've been taught. Heaven is coming to you, ladies and gentlemen. Our Father, who art in heaven. Come on now. Pray with me. You know the prayer. Pray with me. You know the prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven. Your name is to be set apart. But we say, hallowed be thy name. Your name is to be set apart. Your kingdom come. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Whose kingdom? Come on now. Not my kingdom. I have no kingdom. Not the kingdom of the earth. Not the kingdom of the government of this earth or the religion of the earth. Whose kingdom? His kingdom come. Come on now. Come where? On earth. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. On earth as it is in heaven. Then the whole prayer shifts the paradigm. It's no longer focusing on him now. It's focusing on you now. On earth as it is in heaven. Give who? Us. Who? Us this day. Our daily bread. What is that daily bread? His word, his instructions. It's not just a food. It's his instruction. Give us today our daily instructions. The word, your daily word. Give it to us today. And then what? Give us today our daily bread and forgive us our what? Trespasses. We're asking every day for forgiveness. You have to ask for it. And in order for you to ask for forgiveness, you have to acknowledge that you need forgiveness. Most people don't acknowledge it. They don't acknowledge that they're doing something wrong. And it's a daily thing. And forgive us our trespasses. What is our trespasses? What is sin? Sin is the trespasses or transgression of God, Yahweh's laws. You're breaking them every day. You don't even know it. So you got to ask him, forgive me of breaking your laws. That's what it means. As we forgive those who trespass against us. Come on now. So if you're not forgiving your brothers, if you're not forgiving those who trespass against you, then guess what? He himself won't forgive you. It's a condition that has to be met. Can't go asking him for forgiveness while you're holding somebody's heart, holding somebody in your heart, or holding something against someone in your heart. You're going to Yahweh and think he's going to forgive you. You leave your gift at the altar. You better go reconcile yourself first. Most of you are suffering because you don't understand that simple truth. But hold on. Let's continue. Right? Let's continue with this prayer. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Watch this now. Watch this very important part. And lead us not into temptation. Most of you don't understand that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, will set you up. Woo! It took me a while to get over that one. He will set you up, ladies and gentlemen. He will set you up but he always leave an out for you. Yes, and lead us not into temptation. Who is doing the leading? Why are you praying to Yahweh to lead you not into temptation? Wait a minute. What kind of foolery is this? Yes, he does. Who led Yahushua in the wilderness to be tempted by Satan? Who led him in the wilderness? You think it was Satan, who led Yahushua in the wilderness? No, it was Yahweh who led him there because he had to pass some tests. So you can't be used unless you pass that test. Because you see, if you don't pass that test, you don't have that testimony. You have to pass the test. So he's going to put you in the test. And lead us not into temptation. See, Yahushua taught us to pray this prayer because he was led into temptation and he suffered in his temptation. So he don't want you to suffer like he suffered. So he's telling you, when you pray, ask your Father not to lead you into temptation. But what? To deliver you from evil. How many of you pray that Yahweh deliver you from evil? My wife prays this prayer all the time. Father, she said, protect us from evil, seen or unseen, danger seen or unseen. It's a beautiful prayer to remember, especially when you leave your house every day. You don't know what's waiting you out there. But deliver us from evil. For what? And it goes back now. So the whole paradigm of the prayer now shifts again, back to where it began. So you must start and end with the Father in your prayers. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So don't prepare your minds to go to heaven. Prepare your minds for heaven to come to you. That changed your paradigm. So you might want to clean up your house and get your life in order because heaven is coming to you. Will you be found wanting? Children of Yahushua, if you can trace your lineage to the Atlantic slave trade, if you can trace your descendants through the Atlantic slave trade, you are the children of the promise, seed, and covenant from Yahweh through Abraham. You are the fulfillment of that. Yahweh is commanding you to leave the lands of the west, north, south, and come to the far east and Philippines, where he can restore you to power and restore you to your rightful place, to give you your inheritance. To not do so is futile. I said that. Choice is yours. Do what you want. It's your life. You got to do what you want. As for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. I will end here. This is beautiful. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Meka Alban Yahushua, and I'm your brother. That's all I am. I'm not special. I'm not your God. I'm not your teacher. I'm not your creator. I'm not your leader. I'm just a regular guy like you, regular person like you. But I'm one who is searching, seeking, and going after the truth with my whole heart. I know who I am. I know who the Father is. I know the ravenous bird. It's crazy. I get to see a man who Yahweh has written about and spoken of. I get to see him in my time, in my generation. Beautiful. And I'm learning Gubari, the language spoke to our forefathers. I'm very slow in that, but you know me. A man who doesn't take care of his house is worse than a non-believer. So I take care of my house first. Now that my house is taken care of, now my heart can be devoted. I won't have mixed attention going back and forth. I'm just a regular guy. Thank you for joining me, Truth Matters Broadcasting. And for those who are listening on the podcast, Process to Purpose, you can find it on Podbean and anywhere podcasts are streamed. So if you have Spotify or any one of those things, you should be able to find me there. But if you can't find me there, go to Podbean Bean, and then link me there, and then you can find me anywhere. Should be able to find me. Like I said, this is my first podcast back since I left Matram, or the United States of America, for the Philippines. And I'm so happy to be here again. Look forward to many, many more. My whole system is up, as you can see. Sign is up. So I'm ready to rock. So I'm going to be rocking. And hopefully I can come on here and speak some Gabari to you and play some Gabari song to you. And yeah, thank you. Follow me on the Now Living in the Philippines. This is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Now Living in the Philippines is where you'll see my life here in Madbar. I document my whole life, and I'm just giving for those who heed the call, who is going to come to the Philippines. My goal with Now Living in the Philippines is not only to reach out to you, but to reach out to those who will hear and believe through my words, right? So I'm reaching out to the nations, because the nations who join, the people of the nation who join themselves to Yahweh, can also be part of this as well. It is open to you. Isaiah 56, Yeshayahu 56 explains that in all over this Bible. He has people who is not of the promised covenant seed who can join themselves to him by obeying his laws and doing his precepts. Read Isaiah 56. It will explain that to you. So Now Living in the Philippines, go subscribe. Go subscribe. Do it now. Do it now. Subscribe. Now Living in the Philippines. Share it on your social media. Tell a friend, tell a family to subscribe. You're gonna see it's great, man. I'm gonna tell you everything. I'm gonna do another episode on what it's like living in the Philippines and what to expect when you come here. I've done one about how to prepare to get here, one when you get into the airport and so on and so forth. Now I did one on the water here. I'm going to actually do a second episode on the water, because most people are concerned about if the water can be drank. So we're going to do what? I'm going to do an episode called Ask a Filipino. Ask a Filipino. So don't ask me if the water can be drank. Let's ask the Filipino. And let's see if he can, let's see who hears what they say. All right. Then I'm going to do another one on just telling you getting acclimated in the Philippines. This one is going to be very, very important, because when we come here, we was just eating everything, but the food is so fresh. I cooked the food and I lifted it out one day and it spoiled. That's how fresh the food is. The food, there's no preservative, man. The food spoils very fast. So you got to get in, get out, man. It's beautiful. So we were here and just eating everything, and we start having the runs. Oh. So I'm going to teach you what I've learned here to acclimate you, so when you come, you don't make the mistakes I made in terms of getting yourself and getting your body prepared to accept the food, the water, the et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be important. So again, subscribe to Now Living in the Philippines. That's where I'm going to spend a majority of my time. Majority of my time is going to spend here, because I'm going to be doing it live. I've been doing this now for 13 years, talking on Facebook and these social media. I've never been monetized for it. Now I go to Now Living in the Philippines, and I'm monetized for that. And that will be a source of income to keep me doing what I'm doing now. Right now I'm living off my savings, but now I have an income. So your support here is going to help greatly, giving me the opportunity to continue doing what I'm doing. All right. I love you guys again, man. And this is Meka Al Banya Osharal saying, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys a lot. I love y'all. Peace.